Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about credit reports and how they can affect your credit score. So first off, let's talk about a little bit of vocabulary. A credit report is compiled by agencies to help lenders decide whether or not to loan money to a consumer. You, the people that are buying things, are the consumer. So every time you go to the store and you buy something, you're a consumer at that store. So this is for an example. If you go to a bank and you ask for a loan, you are the consumer. You are the one asking for the loan. A credit report includes a person's credit history as well as personal information, employment background, and income. So all of those things can be found on a credit report that people use to decide whether or not you are responsible enough for them to loan you the money. So other vocabulary terms that I want to go over are a borrower. A borrower takes a loan from a bank and agrees to pay the loan back over time. A borrower pays interest on the loan. Again, if you're borrowing money, if you're asking, hey, can I have $5,000 to borrow because I need to pay for something, you're the borrower. Now again, you will pay interest on the loan, meaning if you borrow $5,000, you're not only going to pay $5,000 back, but you're going to add a little more depending on what interest rate you're getting the loan at. Okay? Lender. A lender is a person or financial institute that lends money. In return, the lender charges interest in order to earn money from the loan. So again, you can borrow money from a person or you can borrow money from a financial institute such as a bank. Okay, so again, they're lending you the money. And it is up to them whether or not they decide to lend you money. If they look at your credit report and decide that you are not responsible enough, or they feel that you're not responsible enough, then they can say, no, we don't think we're going to lend you the money. So just because you walk into a bank and ask for a loan doesn't mean you're necessarily always going to get it from that bank. You might have to try different places. A credit inquiry is when a person or a company looks at your credit report in order to make a decision. So like I said, the lender would make a credit inquiry looking at your background, deciding whether or not they feel responsible enough to lend you the money and that you're going to actually pay it back. If the lender does not feel that you are going or responsible enough to pay back their loan, again, they can deny you that loan. Okay, so I also wanted to show you an example of what a credit report might look like. So if a lender were to pull up your credit report, this is something that it might look like. Again, it has several things on there. It shows your name, your birth date, your address, your employer, your social security number, okay, potential negative items, okay, with such as credit cards or late payments, things like that. Accounts in good standing, these might be things that you're paying on time, every month, paying what you need to pay. And then it also shows people that have been requesting your credit history. Okay, so again, this is just an example of what a credit report might actually look like and the information that might be found on there. Okay, so here's an example. This is Christina's credit information. Okay, and we look at down here at the little diagram, it gives us credit report. It talks about the employment, her job history and income, personal information such as social security number, current address, bank accounts, and her credit history, information involving credit cards, including payments and balances. So this is again all the information that can be found on your credit report. So we're just going to put this information into each of these and where you think they might go. Okay, so employment history, again, this is jobs that you've had, how long you've been at the jobs, and how much money you have made. So looking at the Christina's information, it shows that she's worked here at Egan's Grocery. Oh, get this mark. Pen. Egan's Grocery. Okay, it shows that she's worked there from 2010 to 2012. Her annual earnings, it shows how much she's earned, and she's worked part-time. So that would go here into the employment category. Okay, now personal information. Personal information are things such as her social security number, okay, her address where she lives, okay, and let's see. Oh, right here, her checking account and savings account at Yellowstone Bank. Okay, so again, those three things would go into her personal information. Now, her credit history, okay, those are going to be things like what credit cards she has, the interest rate on each of the credit cards, and her balances, and if she's paying them on time or not. So that information, so here in Christina, it shows that she has a credit card with an interest rate of 19.5%. It also shows her balance on this credit card is $1,956. And it also shows, if we read, that she was 1 week late on her May 2012 credit card payment. So those types of things, okay, would be under her credit history. Okay, now I want you to pay close attention to this bubble right here. Okay, this is super important. It says that the negative credit information usually stays on your credit report for 7 years. Yes, so if you decide you're paying your credit cards late every month, that's going to stay on there for 7 years. So if anybody's if a lender is looking into your report, they're going to see up to 7 years how many times you've been late on each of your accounts. Okay. So again, this is very important. That's why it's important to pay your bills on time, to make sure your balances are remaining low, because it does last for a long time, 7 years, okay, before it can be off of your credit report. Okay, so next we're going to talk about how our credit report is used. Okay, so it says the information in your credit report is used to calculate a credit score, meaning a number. Okay, it can be obviously a higher credit score means positive, good history. Low credit score means negative or not responsible when paying back your loans and things like that. So it says a good credit history will give you a high credit score. Late payments, high credit card balances, or owing a lot of money are likely to result in a low credit score. Lenders use the credit scores to decide whether to give you a loan or a credit card. Your credit score can also affect the interest rate you pay that you have to pay for a loan or a credit card. So if you go to a bank and you're asking for a loan, let's say you're buying a car, they're going to look at your credit score if it's high. So for example, maybe your credit score is like 750. Okay, then that's going to show that you're responsible, you're paying your credit cards on time, and they're more likely to let you borrow the money. Versus if you have a low credit score, let's say 500, that shows, and you've had like several late payments, your balances are very high on your credit cards, they might not be willing to let you borrow the money in order to buy a car. Okay, so when talking about your credit score, where do these people get their numbers? Okay, there's 3 agencies or bureaus that are used to calculate your credit score. Okay, the first one is called TransUnion. The second one is Equifax, and the third one is Experian. All 3 of these make up your FICO credit score. So when people are looking or pulling your credit report or your credit score, these are the companies that are going to give them that number. It's called a FICO credit score. Okay, so here's an example that I want to work through. It's comparing 2 people, and it's asking us to match the credit score to each person based off of the information given. So if we look here, it says Dina's monthly income is $3,200. She's been at her job for 8 months. Now her monthly debt payments, this is meaning how many loans she has and what she's paying on those loans each month. So she has a car loan that's $350. She has a credit card that she pays $180. And then she has a student loan, which is $300 a month. And these are all monthly. Okay. It also shows that she's made late payments on her credit card 3 times. Now Ariel, her monthly income is $2,250. The time she's been at her job for 4 years. her monthly debt payment, meaning how many loans she has and what she pays on a month, is she only has one credit card and she pays $45 a month, and she has no late payments. So how can we determine which credit score goes with which? Again, we have 760 and 590, and we're trying to see which credit score goes to which person. Okay, so how can we determine which score goes with which person? So what we want to look at is we want to look at how much they're earning monthly. Okay, but then we also want to look at this important part here, their monthly debt payment. Okay, this here, Dina, she pays all three of these monthly, which is not including anything like electricity or groceries or anything like that. These are just what she's paying on the loans that she has out. And if we add these up, if we take 350 plus 300 plus 180, okay, it's going to show us that she actually pays $830 a month just on the loans that she has now. Okay, and it also shows that she's been late 3 times, which is never good. Okay, now Ariel, on the other hand, even though she is making less than Dina, okay, her monthly debt payments on her credit card is only $45. Okay, so she's only paying $45 a month on loans compared to Dina, who is paying $830 a month, and she's been late 0 times. Okay, so if we had to match the credit scores, 760 and 590, to each person, it'll probably show that Dina, okay, or Ariel would have the higher credit score of 760, and Dina would have the lower credit score of 590. Okay, so hopefully this gives you a little information on credit reports and credit scores and how they're used and how they can be helpful when you're wanting to borrow money and things like that. So I'm going to put an activity into Schoology through Google, and it's just going to basically be more questions about credit report and situations like these. And if you have questions, just shoot me an email. Hopefully this video helped, and I look forward to seeing you soon.